Okay, you guys, it is day 10, and today we're going to be talking about a word, and that word is remember. And some of you are like, I don't want to remember, and I'm with you. No, we're going to be talking about remember in a different way. I had a really cool experience a while back at church, and at our church, like a lot of other churches, we take bread and water when we call it the sacrament. Anyways, during this time, they bless the bread and the water. And in the prayer this particular Sunday, I remember hearing the word remember over and over and over, and it just kept like piercing my heart. And every time I said it, I'm like, okay, remember, I have to remember. I've read the Bible. I know these stories about Christ. I need to remember those miracles that he did. And I just kept trying to force myself into remembering Christ in the stories that I've heard. And finally, I heard the word again in the next prayer, and I closed my eyes and I was like, what does remember mean? What's the significance here? And like a flash on a movie screen, I know this happens to me a lot, but with my eyes closed, I could see little things in my week that at the time were just little, but I could see where they had been a miracle, where Christ had been part of my week. And that word remember just kept echoing in my head. Remember, 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 like a plea to not only remember those stories that we read in the scriptures, and not only remember that he performed miracles for so many other people, but remember where he was in my life. That week, every single week when I go to church and I hear those words, I remember that promise, like grace, atonement, whatever you want to call it, the love that Christ has for you and the things that he did for you when he died for you and the pains that he felt just for you. You have to remember that every single day we can see little glimpses of light. And I believe that there's angels that come and help remind us and help show us his love, but I also think that he's there part of our life as well. And as we remember, we draw closer to him. And as we remember, we also gain a testimony that those stories that we read when he was on the earth, those miracles he performed, we believe those even stronger because we realize that it wasn't just for them. It was for us too. So this is your challenge. I want you to go back to those moments during your week, during your year, during a really hard time in your life, and I want you to pray that you can remember. Remember what miracles affected you in your life, in your story. And as you remember, I want you to pray that you can grow that relationship. So when those miracles happen, that you might even be able to notice them in the moment. And it will make such a difference. Those truths that we worked on a few weeks ago, it almost seems like, those truths are the things that he wants you to remember as well. When you take those truths back to those moments and you remember that he was there and you remember those truths, the lies that are building up inside during our traumas, they're not as powerful if we can remember that we weren't alone. They're actually nothing if we can remember our truths and we can remember that Christ was there with us.